Welcome back and happy Tuesday. We are here again with another fascinating topic this week with the guest you have seen before, different year, different country. Last time we saw her, we were in Amsterdam, Netherlands, which was in June 2019, which feels like a lifetime ago, even though it was only 18 months. I am so happy to welcome back my friend Sophie Guibault. She has one of those beautiful French names that are a bit hard to pronounce at times, but we're going to be talking about embedded finance. Since we saw Sophie last, she is now the Chief Growth Officer at OpenPaid, and she has so many great things to share. Her and I talk often about the changing world of fintech and finance, but really we thought it'd be good to come to you talking more about embedded finance. So Sophie, thank you so much for being here. We are so happy to have you. And let's start kind of where we left off last time, because last time you and I were talking a lot about banking as a service. So let's focus there for a second first. What is the evolution of banking as a service? Now we're a year and a half later, so a lot has changed.
Yeah, no, actually, like a lot have changed it. So I'm so happy to be back on Tech Tuesday to tell you all about that. So maybe a bit background to that. So I started back in banking as a service in 2013. So it has essentially been a long time ago, and so many things have changed in banking as a service. So banking as a service at the beginning was really like banking APIs to enable others to launch neobanks. So you can think of fintech company or other banks or insurers or telcos that wanted to launch their own challenger bank. And essentially over the past 18 months, we have seen a massive acceleration in something the whole industry was waiting for and praising is the rise of essentially financial services embedded in basically experience, consumer and corporate experience, but in other industries. So it can be remittance, accounting, lending, payrolls, anything really.
Yeah, it really certainly does have so much of an overlap with everything that you think of when you think of this world that we're living in. So that gets us and ties us nicely into what we're going to be talking about today, which is embedded finance. Embedded finance is one of those terms that you're starting to hear all the time, but you, someone who is so close to this truly, can you just break it down for us? What is embedded finance at the core, and how does that connect to or not connect to banking as a service?
Yeah, absolutely. So embedded finance is really providing the ability for anyone on the market, any company, to offer financial services to their own customers. And so it entails banking, it can entails lending, it entails open banking, card processing. So you can think about any platform, such as a marketplace, for example, that would not only want to basically offer like the ability to buy goods to their customers, but also give them the ability to, for example, like get a loan to buy those goods. And it applies for consumers as well for merchants.
That's very helpful. So with your role as, Chief Growth Officer at OpenPaid, I know you think about this a lot. We've talked about this a lot. How and what is OpenPaid's role in this entire ecosystem in this process?
So I think OpenPaid has been really positioning early on providing this ability of providing embedded finance to our corporate and customers. So because we provide banking, FX capabilities, open banking, as well as card processing, which really means that if I take a very concrete example, you take a B2C remittance company, we enable them to essentially have their customer log in onto their platform, connect their accounts, regular accounts onto the same platform, be able to make instantly through FPS or so faster payment or SEPA directly onto the account of the remittance company. And then pay out immediately. So essentially, the consumer doesn't have to go on their bank accounts anymore. So that's the power of open banking. If they don't want to use bank accounts, they can also pay by cards. So we are also providing the card processing leg. Then we provide the bank accounts for the remittance company to receive the funds, and we basically enable them to do the FX transfers as well as the SWIFT payout. So we really provide the full banking experience as part of the remittance experience, but without having the remittance company the need to essentially go and pick providers, and to some points they don't always need to have licenses, because we can provide them with our licenses and make them an agent of it. So it's really like financial services in a box that you can provide to your consumers without having to make massive investment into it.
No, that's fascinating. It's certainly a very complex things that are happening in the back end that you make very simplified for the front end, which is fantastic. Well, Sophie, as always, such a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. And for all of you, if you want to hear more about Sophie Gibaud's background and what the OpenPay team is doing, you can click on the link below. There will be all the things that you need to hear more about the story, and they're continuing to grow. They've done massive growth recently, and there is more to come with that. So you want to watch Sophie closely, as with the OpenPay team. Until next week, thank you all so much. Stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see you again.